Hello, everybody. Welcome to our Facebook Live today. I'm Diane Ray, co-founder of MindBodySpirit.fm. Good morning, good afternoon, wherever you are. It's morning here on the West Coast, so, probably not the best time of day for me. I'm more of a night dweller. But anyway, at any rate, welcome to our Facebook Live. I'm so excited you guys could join me today. One of the things that Tina and I love to do on MindBodySpirit.fm is platform new and rising talent. And today we're going to be introducing you to two of our newest podcasters on the network. Mainstreaming Magic is the name of the show, and it's hosted by Marisa Adele, and she's a professional healer who specializes in alternative healing modalities, and her good friend Emma Cosgro. And they've produced this amazing show, and it's a new podcast focused on shining a light on different healing modalities like Reiki or working with angels or acupuncture or things that people might be skeptical of at first. So they're opening the door to some of the mysteries and magic of healing. So thanks for joining me, you two.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, thank you.
Well, I'm excited to share your podcast with everybody and, hopefully get some new listeners to check you guys out, because I think the information that you're sharing is so important and people need it right now. They're looking for healing. They're looking for ways to support maybe, something that they're doing already. And people are curious about these kinds of modalities. So I wanted to find out first, how you both came together to work on the podcast and how you came up with the idea for Mainstreaming Magic. And maybe Marisa, you could start and then bring Emma in, because I know she has a great story to share.
Oh yeah, it's a story. So I have spent pretty much the last 2 decades diving into the world of holistic magical modalities, things that are outside of the mainstream. And I have found that there's just so much misinformation out there, but also that if this is not a part of your world, if you're not someone who is sort of introduced to things that are off the beaten track, very often it's not even on your radar. And there are so many times that I've seen people have these incredibly miraculous experiences that have shifted their entire trajectory, that have created massive healing that they never thought was possible. And if someone didn't point them in the direction of said modality, they never would have had that experience. They would still be stuck in the same place where they were previously. And so that has been sort of first and foremost my mission, to show the world that there are so many options available for you that you may not know about that could potentially change your life. And so I have worked with hundreds, if not thousands, of healers over the last 20 years. And I started to refer to them to get a sense of what they do and to kind of almost utilize a lot of my networks and platforms to really up level them, to make them visible, to make them seen. And this podcast has been on the back burner for the last several years. So this had always been the intention. It was always the intention to create something that would introduce people to these different types of modalities that they might not have been aware of. And the week that I decided to pull the trigger, I had 4 separate people approach me and say, you have to do a podcast and you have to be my co-host. And
so desirable.
It was already in the works. I'm like, who's going to be my partner? How is this going to work? And then I'm going to bring Emma into the conversation, because this is how it all began.
I mean, she's saying she had 4 people. Like, there's people that are extremely well known in this business that were asking her, and all these high flying, highfalutin people that wanted Marisa because she's just so good at what she does. So of course, yes, go on, explain why you should.
So this week, this particular week, I had all these invites to become a co-host, to a podcast, and one night I wake up and I look at my phone. Now, Emma and I have been friends for 20 years. We waited tables 20 years ago. And in the past 20 years, we have always been bonded, but we have not seen each other I mean, the last time we saw each other was in person was 2014. So this is not like we see each other every day. You know, we are friends, but we're off each other's radar. And here we are. I wake up and there is a long text message at 3:47 in the morning that came in. Now, 3:47 is also my lucky number, I might add. And Emma's going to read us.
No,
what?
you can read.
Yeah. You want me to read
Oh,
it?
you have it there saved.
I saved it because it's something that just comes up for us so much. And I just wanted to remember, I wanted to keep this because it was such a life-changing text.
That's amazing. After so much time too, not physically in contact.
Was it?
Yeah.
Oh, I mean, when she says, I mean, we're friends, but we haven't, I can't find it right now. We should have been so much more prepared.
Oh, that's okay.
Oh, here it is.
You can paraphrase. That's okay.
Oh yeah, we've been friends for 20 years, and you know, always as soon as we get together, it's like a good laugh, and you know, we totally kind of like guess each other. But it wasn't like a weekly call or a monthly or a 6-monthly call, but it was always just really fresh and, you know, comfortable. So as you said, so you woke up at
3:47 in the morning. I wake up and this is the text, and I will edit out the swears. Oh my gosh. I hope you have your alerts turned off. I know this is super effed up time. My head is swirling. I have a crazy out of my comfort zone idea I need to pitch to you. So this year we both turned 50, right? I remembered a discussion from Isabella's, that was the restaurant we worked in, that you couldn't remember your age. And when you did, we realized that we are the same age. That being said, it's an effed up time as a woman. Yes, single, married, working, stay-at-home mom. I read all that you write on social media and I just love it. You're funny, quirky, super interesting, and so real. I have grown a lot in the last 20 years. Long story. I feel that there is just so much inside. I want to do something. I can't write, but you know, I can talk. Possibly need pulling in sometimes. This is where it all comes together. Want to do a podcast for women like us. We're the same age, but we come from such different perspectives. The last 20 years took us both in such different directions, but at 50, I just hear all my friends saying the same stuff. I'm constantly listening to different types of podcasts, but there's just something missing for me. I want facts and fun, laughs, tears, the whole lot. No one does it all. We could. I'm sure you probably have this in the works, and I think I have lost my stuff. I have mine many times, and holy hell, I would listen to you. I have so many ideas. Please do not feel awkward coming back with a hard no. It is so effing random. I'm going into my 50th year with greater intention, taking risk, stepping out of my comfort zone, and living in a place of greater self-forgiveness, confidence, peace, and perspective.
Wow, I wrote that at 3:47, and
that is prolific at that time of the morning.
Yeah, seriously. I was so shocked when I saw this. I was like, wait, huh? What's that?
It was meant to be.
It was so meant to be, because again, the same week I had such a clear message from the universe. It is time. It is time to do this. And then she pops up, and it was like it needed to click into place, and then it did. And that's how we got rolling with this podcast.
It's just been amazing. I just feel as though it was whatever needed to aligned, and it's been the most crazy, wonderful ride that I just don't want to get off, because I am loving this.
And you're having fun with it, and that really shows. That comes through on the podcast. And I love that you're sharing this, because people that might be watching this, you never know who might see this out in the world. Mm-hmm. And if they're thinking about starting a podcast and they're afraid, you know, you're just proof that you just take those steps and things kind of come into place, and people start coming forward that are the right people to help you and get things going. You know, you guys came together and got the podcast off the ground. So that's amazing.
Yeah, I was very afraid. And then even more afraid when she said, yes, she wanted to do it with me, because she told me she had all these wonderful offers. And I just thought, gosh, why is she choosing me? Like, I just didn't feel good enough. Here we are. And I just couldn't believe it. But yet we have just the most wonderful, I'm speaking for myself. I feel as though we have the most wonderful rapport with one another in terms of behind the scenes. We just one's can pick up where the other one can't, and it's just flowing. And I feel the longer we're going to do this, the better we're going to get. We are coming. I mean, today we had this session, and some of it is just it's mind blowing for me as a person. I'm the mainstream of the magic.
Right. Let's talk a little bit about that, just to let people know how the podcast is set up. So Marisa is kind of she is the expert, of course, in these amazing healing modalities, things like I mentioned, Reiki, hypnotherapy, acupuncture, things that people may dismiss right away. And then you're the one that comes in and, kind of supports the story that these things can work.
Yeah.
You said that really nicely. I know nothing about any of these. So far, all of the ones that all the interviews that we've done, I've really had very little knowledge or understanding. So I guess Marissa's bringing these things to me, and we're doing this for an audience who maybe wants to dip their toe into these things, but is too afraid to ask the awkward questions, or they feel silly asking this, or they're afraid to do it. And so seeing an experience on hand of, we just did a tapping EFT.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's a way that our listeners can get an experience of it. They're in the room with somebody else having it done. And hopefully we're taking the fear away from it. And they're like, okay, I can see how powerful this has been. Or, it takes away their fear of going to it. And also, because of Find Your Healers, the website that Marisa has of vetted healers, we're able to give you a beeline to the vetted healers that you can use.
And maybe you could share a little bit, just your own story, Emma, because I know you had some healing that took place in a way that you weren't expecting, right?
Well, I've always been somebody that has done therapy. From my early 20s, I've dipped in and out, and now at this age, I'm still going, and I find it extremely beneficial. But I forget whether it was in that note to Marisa or if it was other, but I just felt that I'd come so far with that, and it's done so much for me that it's almost like it's plateaued to a certain point, and I needed to get deeper, and I wanted to speed up my healing and learn different ways of healing, because I felt like it wasn't always the right approach. So that's now, from doing the podcast, I'm learning that there's so many different, extremely working, is that even English, but legitimate things that people are out there that people can utilize. And that's what we're bringing. Is I'm just blown away. I keep saying to her, I want to shout it from the rooftops. Like, there's so many great modalities that you can use out there for you, and it's your journey, and we are putting out the ideas there for you to pick and choose from the shelf. Oh, that sounds right for me. I'm telling you, I've got goosebumps talking about it, because I find it amazing.
It is. I mean, is there a modality that you could share? Like, I know for me personally, for a long time, I was very skeptical of Reiki, and I kind of rolled my eyes whenever anybody suggested it. And then I had a treatment with a really amazing Reiki practitioner here in Southern California, and I tell people you just have to experience it. Like, it was something I had never felt before. So what was there something like that maybe shifted things for you, Emma? Like a certain modality? Yeah.
Well, I don't know that I can pick out one for one full healing. Today we did EFT tapping. It was incredibly powerful. It pinpointed one specific area that I have been struggling with. So it was very focused, wasn't it? It was very focused. And this morning I didn't know what was going to be my, my barrier or my block that we were coming to. And I made a flip comment to Marisa, and then the next thing I know, I'm sobbing on air and having
It was a really emotional episode.
Wow. And that's coming up, right? That episode.
Yeah. It was really powerful.
It'll be out there.
Yeah, that was one specific thing. But then, Alida was, you have to remind me. What was
Family Constellations.
Family Constellation.
Yes.
That stuff is powerful. And I have to say, I had a session. I have never, and I've done so many things, but I have never done Family Constellations. And to be honest with you, the name sucks. I feel like Family Constellations is a really boring name for a modality. And I've always envisioned it. I had previously always envisioned it as being like, you're going to sit here and talk about your family. And I thought this sounds so dull. And I ended up having, because Alida is one of the members of Find Your Healers. And I went to go have a session with her, and it blew my brain apart. I freaking cried, and I am not a crier. Emma's the crier. Emma's the crier. I'm the one who's like dead inside.
Oh, I don't cry normally.
I cried through the whole, and I didn't even know what the hell I was crying about. Like she has these dolls, and she has you stir the dolls with your hand. They look like little Russian nesting dolls.
Yeah, they do.
With little faces she draws on them. And immediately I stick my hand. I'm like, oh, this sounds weird, but okay. And I'm stirring these dolls, and it was just, the dam broke, and I'm sobbing, and I'm like, what's happening? Why am I upset? Why am I crying? I don't understand. She's like, well, you're already having an emotional release. And it was one of the most profound sessions I've ever had. I am not kidding you. I legit could not drive. I had to have a designated driver after my session. My friend,
that's amazing.
She's like,
amazing.
You are not here. What is going on? I'm like, I literally feel like I'm living in two separate worlds at once, and I can't tell what's real. And then there was this moment where I just kind of came back to myself. And I'm like, I have never had a session like that before. It was nothing like what I expected. It was so intense.
Yeah.
And that you'll see the episode that we did with Alida was amazing.
That one's already on air.
It is on air. Yeah. I think that rolled out last week.
And people can go back and check out these episodes and catch up. And I think it's so helpful that you're introducing people that may not have heard of family constellations. I mean, I've heard of that modality, but I've never experienced a session, and I've always wanted to. And just hearing your reaction makes me even more curious to see like what would happen, if I did that. So I'm going to have to look into that. Yeah. And these are out there.
Yeah, that one was amazing for me because it did connect some, family histories. And she, if you stop and listen to, I did a reflection afterwards because there was some personal things that she didn't want to bring up on air, but she knew something, and then afterwards she talked to me about it. And so it was just really amazing that she knew this had happened to me, and then we talked about it. And then we did a chiropractic. That one's not out yet. Everyone knows about chiropractics. Did I say that correctly?
Chiropractic, yeah.
Chiropractic.
Yes.
And, I've always been afraid and a bit nervous, and boom, that one was amazing. But again, they're all treating different things that I'm living with. And so there's not one thing that heals all. Like with therapy, with my therapy, yes, it heals a lot of bits and bobs, but it's not healing all, and it's not pinpointing certain things. So I guess that's my thing for this, is to say to people, try it all, because you'll never know what it's going to shift, a point that you never knew that you could shift. And maybe you've been working on it for years in therapy.
And sharing your experience is so important. I think everybody's individual, everybody's different, right? So a different modality may work well for someone, may not have the same reaction for someone else. So you're right. Just giving people the permission to seek these out and find out for themselves. And maybe they'll be surprised, like you were, like I was.
Yeah.
And these can be really powerful. So as you're moving through this process, you guys are a few podcast episodes in now, and I know you're having fun with it. So you shared the one that you think was really impactful. People can go back and listen to that one. So what have you got coming up that you're excited about to share? Anything?
So
give us
Tim,
a peek.
Yeah, Tim, our chiropractor.
Mm-hmm.
Robin Thomas.
Yeah. And that session, the energy was almost like we were having such a hard time even getting anything to work. like the entire session. And we knew because the minute we were done with the energy healing, everything was perfect. The screen stopped, doing all its staticky stuff. So we've come to realize that this is just part of the process, that we are going to have technical difficulties, not because it's, there's a button that needs to be pressed, but because when you're working with all of these energy healers who are doing these live healings right there, the screen goes crazy. There's all these weird there's just strange things that happen. But I don't feel like there are a lot of people out there doing what we're doing as far as there are many shows out there about healing, but I don't see, many people doing, okay, you're going to watch someone have an experience. You're going to have the experience with them as you're moving through the episode. Which is why we also have the don't listen while you're driving, because a lot of these episodes are, there are these healing components taking place, and other people are going to receive that healing too, but you don't want to receive a deep meditation while you're, driving on the
traffic.
highway.
Yeah.
So that is, to me, another piece that kind of popped up that was unexpected, but so amazing, that other people out there, they're going to receive healing because they're going to learn about something that they can integrate into their life, but they're also receiving a live healing from many of these sessions as they're sitting in their living room listening to us, which is pretty amazing.
I found that amazing. It was that I was getting a healing, and I don't remember who we were with, but they were like, and if anyone else wants to receive this healing, please, just say, I am open and I am ready. And so that, for me, I found amazing, that even in what I was thinking was a personal healing for me, was that our listeners can listen and also say, I would like to, take in this healing time. And it's got so many different aspects to our podcast. I feel that,
Well, I think you're definitely bringing a new and fresh perspective to a lot of these teachings and introducing people to these modalities, and you're making them feel safe that they can try them and experience them for themselves. And people will be able to get remote healings, and the cool thing about podcasting is that, it could be someone on a little island somewhere that is logged in, that's downloaded the show, so the reach, your tentacles are out there globally, helping to heal the world in your way. So I think that's great. Do you ever look at your stats and see what countries people are listening?
We have
no.
I'm hoping someone in England
to check it out.
They
are.
I look at the stats quite often, but I've never broke it down into where, outside of the US.
You can see that. We have a lot of people that access the shows from the UK, from Australia, from all around the world. And sometimes you'll find some remote place, and I always imagine somebody just sitting there, downloading a show and listening. So I get a kick out of that.
Yeah.
I have to say, my clients have been loving this. The clients that I've been working with for years, every time I see them, they're telling me how they heard Mainstreaming Magic and they were crying along with Emma on the episode, or,
I cry every time.
Yeah.
Well, you're feeling it. You're emotional, and that's all coming through.
Yeah.
The authenticity.
I'm just very open to it. And I think that's what I'm learning, is that it's about your openness to receiving it and your willingness to shift. And I think that makes the modality work, is your openness to it.
Yes. I have to say too that I just, from my perspective, people have always said to me, oh, you're so brave because you'll try anything, you will go into some weird back alley, place and just be like, I just want to see what happens. I want to try out this practitioner. But I feel like the bravery that it takes to do stuff like that, where you're just like, I've never done this before, it's weird, I'm going to try it, pales in comparison to the bravery it takes to sit here on air and to be so open and vulnerable. And I'm just blown away by that, because for me, I'm not afraid to go to that back alley, but if I had to sit here on air and cry live on a podcast because I'm really revealing everything within me, it would be death to me. And so I'm just constantly in awe of the fact that she lets herself be so incredibly open and vulnerable for these episodes. you don't see this. This is not how people are. So I just think we complement each other so well because, I'm like kind of more of the, all right, I'll have the adventure and I'll report back. And she's more, but I'm not going to sit there and tell everyone, oh, here's all my feelings, because that to me is really, really hard and scary. And for her,
going into a back alley for some dodgy something or other is scary. I mean, this is where
Yes. Well, you guys, you complement each other so well. And we're so happy to have you as part of the MindBodySpirit.fm network and to host the show. And we know it's going to continue to grow and bring in new people. And also I want to throw out there, if anyone's watching this and you think, oh, maybe I could do something like Marisa and Emma, throw us an email at info@mindbodyspirit.fm if you're interested in launching a podcast. So I want to throw that out there because you guys are doing it. You're loving it. You're sharing some really important, amazing information. And the show is just going to continue to grow and grow. And I want to thank you so much for jumping on here on Facebook Live and sharing your story. And it's just been so much fun to talk with you guys. And I hope that all of the people checking us out here will go to mindbodyspirit.fm, grab the show, catch up on Mainstreaming Magic, and also keep their eye out for new episodes. Make sure you follow the show. So thanks so much for joining me today.
Thank you.